Are you ready to dance? Because that's what ORICORIO is here to do. Now, let's just jump right into it. The first opponent has a pretty serious team with Espadra, okay, fair enough. They lead Mausul Dorsaluna, I lead Electabuzz Volcarona, I get taunted onto Electabuzz, and I Quiver Dance with Volcarona. So we just started to set up our Volcarona. We protect, to protect ourselves for Roman Hyper Voice. I Electro Web, they Super Fang, they Blood Moon onto the Volcarona in hopes to bring it down, but that's a bit of a mistake for them. Now, Super Fang will burn Mousehold, okay. I Volt Switch into the Mousehold and I get ORICORIO in. They power Volcarona, but they resist. Now Volcarona is faster than anything on the field. I Fiery Dance, Mousehold gets one hit KO'd. Dance copies, Fiery Dance into the Ursaluna. No boost unfortunately. Revelation Dance. To take out Ursaluna. What happened there? Revelation Dance essentially becomes the primary type of the user. ORICORIO is basically the mastermind of typings. Forget about the Terrapagos, we have ORICORIO, the real son or daughter, I should say, of Arceus, mastering all typings. Unfortunately, we get it with an expanding force with at +1. I didn't think it would bring me down, but at this point the match is pretty much over. Volcarona can just buzz the Armor Rouge away, and this Archaludon will take damage from the Fiery Dance. So ORICORIO already helped a lot tearing down that Ursaluna, because if it started spamming Hyper Voice at any point, it would have been pretty much over for us. So, first replay, it's a passing grade for ORICORIO. It did just one attack, but it got a very important KO. The second replay is against another decently serious team with Typhlosion and again Ursaluna. Ursaluna is everywhere. I Quiver Dance and follow me with Electabuzz is the initial setup. Eruption gives a lot of damage and they take out Electabuzz. This is even more ideal than the previous situation. I can just Terrastalize ORICORIO. I Quiver Dance. ORICORIO copies the Quiver Dance.
Dance, water, dance!
Will attack again with their own attack. Revelation Dance onto the Ursaluna. Goodbye Ursaluna. That crit was useless. You saw it in the last match. You can just one-shot Ursaluna like that. They encore on Quiver Dance. It's a big mistake, because now this ORICORIO will get more and more powerful, and so this Volcarona, because this Volcarona is getting extremely bulky to any attacks this Farigiraf will do. ORICORIO will continue to get powerful and powerful, and will basically spam Air Slash and Revelation Dance, which is absolutely amazing. They protect their Typhlosion. I keep Quiver Dancing because I'm still anchored. I have a +4 ORICORIO and a +5 Volcarona. They protect, they set up Trick Room. It's pretty much worthless because you will see how much damage this Typhlosion will do now to our Pokémon. Yeah, 29 is good, but oh my god, I forgot. 29 is good, but it's a Typhlosion Terrafire. Revelation Dance to finish off Farigiraf, and this was absolute cinema. I don't know what to tell you. This was absolute cinema. ORICORIO and Volcarona just swept through an entire team just by dancing. This is pretty much the power of ORICORIO. If you accompany this little bird with a Pokemon with any dancing move, you can basically have continuous stat boosts, and with Terrastalization you can literally be of any type. So yeah, next replay. The next opponent has a Sun team with Vileplume instead of Torkoal for some reason, but that's okay. I Terrastalize Volcarona into water, they helping end the Terrafire Charizard. Volcarona dodges. And I set up my first Quiver Dance. Sunny Day, Fiery Dance, goodbye Whimsicott. This Volcarona keeps avoiding stuff. I think that this team gave my Volcarona, the Ultra Instinct, because it's full health and just the fight just started. Even though it's been already 2 turns, this Volcarona is basically invincible. And or Revelation Dance and the Charizard dies of Revelation Dance. But despite this being an ORICORIO showcase, the star of this match was Volcarona. So I absolutely love this team. Also, the fights with this team have been pretty fast, I gotta say, because of course I'm attacking 1 time more than my opponent. I attack 3 times thanks to the Dancer ability. Bloopers time, because yes, one of the main thing that goes on when I test these weird teams, it's the play testing. Essentially, I have to test all the teams before, and I figured I will show you one of the bloopers, quote unquote, of this team, and also of me as a player, because of course misplays happens. So we are up against a team with Annihilate. My first mistake here was letting Annihilate get too cocky with the Bull Caps and also the Fire type Terastallization. So I basically, after 4 turns, I was already in a very bad situation. Drain Punch will KO my Electabuzz. That crit was pretty much useless. I tried to bring in ORICORIO here. Another thing that threw me off in this matchup was the Mirror Herb Incineroar. It's not an item you see too often in Incineroar, but it made it bulkier, so I could not one-shot it as per planned. Also, I brought Torkoal, which was not useful as I thought it would be. Without the Mirror Herb boost, that Incineroar would go down with that Revelation Dance. And now Ninetales Alola is here. I try to yawn, but as you will later see, this Annihilate has for some reason Vital Spirit, so it will be immune to my yawn. So a big combo of weird sets of these Pokemon and a little bit of misplays by my side ultimately ended losing me this matchup. Of course, I still try to do something, but I will die by Life Orb. And this can happen, unfortunately, when you are learning your own team, because maybe you want to adjust some spreads or think more of brackets of your strategies. These things can absolutely happen. So don't get discouraged by a match that didn't go as planned. If you have an idea and you want to optimize it for a tournament, just keep going. The optimized version of your team will come naturally as you play and as you get to know more, especially if you're playing an unusual Pokemon like ORICORIO in this case. So let's see now the team. This is my ORICORIO team. Now, you can change something, because I think ORICORIO has some potential in these last couple of months of Regulation H to really deal some serious damage and win something. So the ORICORIO I chose was the Ghost and Flying type. Of course, as you know, there's 4 kinds of ORICORIO you can choose with different types. I feel like the most important thing to consider when you're choosing ORICORIO is choosing a Terra type that will compensate for the primary type of your chosen ORICORIO the best. In this case, I chose Fighting type because I felt like that having Revelation Dance as a Ghost type is usually very powerful, but in the case of a very common Pokemon like Ursaluna or a very resisting common Pokemon like Incineroar, which by being Dark type resists Ghost, having the Fighting type to basically deal with them as as your basically stab is probably the best option. Of course, depending on the ORICORIO, you will have to choose different Terra types to suit your business. The other three types of ORICORIO are Fire Flying, Psychic Flying, and Electric Flying. You can change the Terrestrial type to your needs according to whatever team you're putting them. Like, I feel like ORICORIO can be a pretty flexible Pokemon to get in a team where you're missing a specific type, and you can just combo two types you need into one Pokemon, and it's probably the power of Terrestrialization as well. And I feel like ORICORIO is very powerful at abusing the Terrestrial phenomenon thanks to Revelation Dance as well, because you basically have a stab move with a pretty high base power in 90 of any type you need in order to deal with a certain matchup. I had to deal with dark and normal types to essentially not render ORICORIO Sensu useless due to the Ghost type. And also I feel like the Ghost type can be potentially the best one, because Ghost type means you are naturally immune to fake outs, so you can set up your own Quiver Dance without waiting for Volcarona to set up their Quiver Dance. So I really like this Pokemon. I gotta be honest, I will probably cook something even more serious in my free time, because I feel like it has some serious potential. Now, the spread I chose was a decently bulky and max speed ORICORIO, because I figured I don't need to push ORICORIO's special attack, because if I Quiver Dance or if I copy Volcarona's Quiver Dance or Fear Dance, this special attack will rise by its own, plus its Life Orb, so the damage is there. So I think I'm pretty satisfied with a bulky fast spread for this Pokemon. Volcarona, I opted for a very basic spread, but of course you can change it for your needs depending on what you wanna do. Bug Buzz, Protect, Fear Dance, Quiver Dance, Safety Goggles, Flame Body, Terra Water. It's pretty standard, but the standard of Volcarona, it's enough. Volcarona is a very powerful Pokemon. The only thing that changed is Fairy Dance, because you usually want Heat Wave, but with a Pokemon that will copy your moves and will copy Fairy Dance as well, you are not to be too much worried. You probably deal Fire type damage with Volcarona like 2 times thanks to Dancer. Remember, Dancer copies a dance move. This Pokemon uses the same move. This counts for Fairy Dance as well. Then I had Torkoal. I added a Sun Core because there's also Lilligant Hisui in this team. It's basically the standard Torkoal at this point with a Jetpack and Overheat. Unfortunately, I cannot play Overheat because I keep missing the 90% accuracy, but it's useful, especially in combo with Lilligant Hisui, which is the usual as well, except for Victory Dance. Now, Victory Dance, you can remove it in this team because the combo here is ORICORIO Volcarona, and I almost never basically found myself doing ORICORIO and Lilligant, because you usually wanna start ORICORIO Lilligant Torkoal, sorry, and then maybe ORICORIO. But I still put Victory Dance because it will still raise defense and speed by 1, and this will make ORICORIO more bulky in the defense side, so it will last longer and will be faster and faster and will still deal a pretty decent amount of damage. And also you will be bulkier to set up your own Quiver Dance, which will probably result in a decently invincible ORICORIO after a couple of turns, probably even just 1 turn. So yeah, Victory Dance I think it can stay. You can also opt to a physical ORICORIO, but you lose the flexibility of Revelation Dance plus Terrestrialization. So Victory Dance is good if you wanna bulk up your ORICORIO, but I can see people not using the Lilligant Torkoal combo. For the last two Pokemon, I opted for an Electabuzz. I figured I wanted some redirection, and Electabuzz is probably the best Pokemon for it because it also has some speed control. Again, like the Cramorant video, you never know when you want more speed control. And also it has Volt Switch, so you can pivot easily, as you saw in that one game. The last Pokemon is Corviknight. Corviknight is getting a little bit more popularity lately. It's very bulky. This version I used as Tailwind, Iron Defense, Body Press and Roost. But the paste, I will give it to you, will probably have a more flexible set in Bulk Up and Brave Bird. With I will probably leave the Citrus Berry, but you can also make an argument for leftovers. The reason being why I'm giving you Bulk Up with Brave Bird and Body Press, it's because in testing I found myself that relying solely on Body Press is not always the ideal, so I'm giving you a Pokemon that can set up both Body Press and Brave Bird alike, and also can set up a Tailwind. This Tailwind, despite being kinda slower, it's still useful because you can literally throw this Tailwind last in the turn, and you can start sweeping suddenly in the middle of the battle, and I think it's still pretty valuable. It's a way of speed control, so yeah. Torkoal easier also to be the Trick Room option in order to counter other Trick Rooms. So yeah, this is the team I came up with. With how flexible I felt with ORICORIO, I feel like there's a better version of an ORICORIO team that will probably be different from this. This is already pretty decent in my opinion. But I feel like that if we look more into it, we can find a better and more improved version of ORICORIO. Even probably not using the Ghost type version. Although, again, the fake out argument is too powerful to be passed on. Maybe you will substitute like Lilligant with a Sneasler, and you don't need a fighting type here, and you will have other kind of terastallization to abuse with Revelation Dance. So yeah, that's all I had to say. Let me know in the comments what you think about ORICORIO and this team. And as always, see you next time. Goodbye!